Good evening and welcome, guys. Welcome to Career Counseling Online once again. And it's lovely being a part of this again, coming in front of you guys. A couple of days, past 7 days or 8 days, we have been facing some problem following the cyclone Amphan, which did hit us. We had some major issues with the technical, setup here. The internet connection was disrupted, the electricity was a problem, and so on. So, well, this mail comes from Tony, and I apologize for not being able to get back to you, Tony, with this. We have some problems, so we couldn't reply back to the mails, right? So, as you understand, um, but we will be answering your questions. This is so nice of you to frame all these questions and send me to reply them in an attempt to understand what's going on in your mind. Well, for the viewers, let me tell you, Tony Fisher is from Australia, and he is a budding entrepreneur. He is planning on certain aspects of his startup and has completed certain stages and currently faces some questions and situations which is actually imposing a bit of kind of challenge. So he wants to understand the kind of challenges that he's facing right now through the answers to his questions. Now first, we will go straight to the questions of Tony. Tony would like to know the background of my journey, my project. Well, Tony, thanks a lot for asking. Thanks a lot for the mail and putting it across the Career Counseling Online LinkedIn group. Well, to talk about the journey, Tony, Career Counseling Online is one platform wherein I am the coach and the motivational speaker. This is out of, you can say, a passion. This is a kind of my compulsion towards my responsibility towards my friends, to all those professionals who are facing the challenges, because with my 20 years of experience, I have seen that professionals faces a lot of problems in their day-to-day workplace and in their day-to-day work life also, which adversely affects their personal life. Now, Tony, I have 20 years plus years of experience in IT, and I've been working with a couple of big IT giants to code them until 2013, when I discovered my passion towards providing or creating a platform for the artisans of Bengal, to provide them dignity, to provide them sustainable development through sale of their artwork without going through any middleman. The artisans could sell their artwork to art lovers and the customers across India and across the globe directly. All right? And the artisans could be paid directly by the buyers, and they could send their artwork directly to them. So Project Rangamaati came up as a brainchild, I would say, to provide a platform to those who never got the scope to market their product, to talk about their skills, to talk about their hardship, and to talk about the intangible heritage and culture that they carry on. So Project Rangamaati was born in 2013, and well, I did resign from my job, and I started this project, and it's been 7 years. It has been a wonderful journey so far. We had our fair share of success and failures, both. We are still struggling in terms of providing more and more work to our artisans. Because when we started, it was only 5 artisans that we were able to work with. But now we have across 125 artisans across India who are associated with Project Rangamati and with whom we work. So this journey began as a compulsion towards providing a platform to the artisan so that they could sell their artwork directly to art lovers. Well, your second question comes as why this and not something else if it was a startup? Was it like joining the trend or the drive of vision was stronger? Well, Tony, your question as put forward are very, very clear, and that shows the kind of clarity that you carry on along with your thought process. Well, no, it's true that startup entrepreneurship is like a new buzzword, and every other day you come across some startup entrepreneurs, and some are genuinely, even I meet a lot of entrepreneurs and startup entrepreneurs and solopreneurs in various seminars and workshops. Some of them really inspire me, honestly speaking. Some very young entrepreneurs really inspire me with their kind of thoughts, with their kind of reason behind starting this startup as providing a solution to a social cause. I can name a couple of them who literally inspired me, young guys, and they made me believe that I need their service or I need their product. It was not like they needed any campaign, the need was already there, like I was already facing a problem. And when they mentioned their project, it was like, oh God, you guys thought about it, so it's so good. I mean, this could have made my life so easy. So Tony, those kind of entrepreneurs are the real ones who are looking towards the society through the eye of a solution provider. But again, then there are few romantic startup entrepreneurs who believe that startup entrepreneurship is just like a new game, and it's a new, better way of not being into a job and being the boss themselves. It's not. It's absolutely not. You being an entrepreneur, you understand very well. Like it's much easier when you are working for somebody else, but when you are an entrepreneur and you're reporting to yourself, your job profile, your responsibility, your involvement changes in multiverse. I mean, there is not a single field that you can say, well, that is my specialty, I can work on that. And you cannot but ignore something that you cannot say that, well, I do not understand accounts, so I cannot take care of the billing part, or I cannot understand Photoshop or designing parts, so I cannot design my logo. You literally have to do a lot as an entrepreneur, because first thing is you run very short of funds always, and you are always trying to maximize your funds. You are trying to maximize your effort, and you are trying to get the best benefit of every penny that can count. So you cannot be assigning your project, your work to Tom, Dick and Harry and segregate the works and get it done. So yes, it was passion which literally drove me towards starting my entrepreneurship, my startup, because when I visited the villages in Bengal, the plight, the condition of the artisans or the people who are staying there was unbearable, was something that I never have ever experienced myself. Now what happened was, I understood that they had so much of intangible skills and tangible skills, but yet they did not know, these people did not know how to market their skills. And even if they are working on artwork, it was the middlemen who were destroying the whole platform of direct involvement of the artisan and the art lover. So that's what drove me towards creating this platform called Rangamaati, wherein we bring in more and more artisans, and we bring in more skills, more artworks to the art lovers, so that it can benefit in both directions. Well, the third question, so far, how's the journey? Well, Tony, to be honest, very honest, the journey has been a mixed experience. There has been a lot of failures, but I wouldn't consider them as only failures, because those taught me so much. Those made me realize that I was more than what I was believing in myself, and that I could cross my limit. The limitation that I had was the limitation of the thought process only. And the moment I accepted that as a limitation, it became a limitation, as a hindrance. But as an entrepreneur, very seldom you have the privilege or the luxury of accepting a challenge, or a kind of difficulty as a difficulty, because if you do not solve that, you cannot go ahead, and if you cannot go ahead, your project does not go ahead. So entrepreneurs are always found jumping into the sea of challenges and trying to solve, even if something is not getting solved the right way, some way or other, they still learn to get out of this problem. So that what has been the journey so far. It has been pretty difficult, it has been pretty challenging, it has been pretty demanding, honestly speaking. But yet at the end, today is, well, what we talk about. Like today we are talking about the project, we are talking about what we are doing. It would have never been possible if we would have succumbed to the kind of problem that arrived on the very first day. So we moved on. Your second question on that third question is, what is the plan of action to overcome those? See, the plan of action is very simple. Startup entrepreneurship is a journey. A lot of people say you need to calculate this, you need to work on those, you need to get these things done, everything. But the thing is, I have been also doing the SWOT analysis and everything. But the thing is, see, something or other happens which throws you off the grid. Like for instance, for all the startup entrepreneurs who've been planning to launch their product or to market their product or to participate in an event. See, take this this instance of COVID-19. So everything is postponed, everything is delayed, and no matter even if you try, no matter even if you feel frustrated and depressed, you cannot come out of it unless the lockdown is over, unless the government announces everything is safe to go about with the operation. So this kind of things, like the natural calamities I'm talking about. See, on the 20th of May, Bengal was hit with the biggest cyclone over 75 years. This was of magnitude of 165 kilometers per hour, which has a ravishing speed, which has a destruction speed, and it uprooted the trees, it uprooted the buildings, it uprooted the houses of many, and so many are, millions are homeless, and people are devastated. Now, this kind of scenarios you cannot really comprehend beforehand with a SWOT analysis. But the thing is, yes, you can minimize the effect to a certain extent, but then again, you have to go with the flow. That I always say, that you cannot just buckle down. You always have to go with the flow. You always have to think that, okay, this has happened, so what next? I mean, I cannot be stopping here. What is that I'm doing to take my project ahead, even when things are not working, right? So that kind of scenarios always arrives at your doorstep, and you are always taken by surprise. So the plan of action is to carry on doing the great work of trying to help others, trying to contribute, trying to bring more artwork on our platform, and get to work with more artisans. That is the plan of action. We are also planning in terms of looking for investors who would be genuinely interested in our vision and mission, not only the return of investment, and they would be a part of the project. Question number 4: What are the possibilities of the project? With the project expansion, there is a lot of scope of expansion, because we are talking about Bengal, wherein we are talking about diversified artwork. We are talking about like even if we take weaving, for instance, we do a lot of hand weaving. Even if we take weaving, for instance, there are 62 different types of weaving of fabrics which happens in Bengal alone. Now, and these 62 different types of weavings are on different types of fabrics, which again makes the complex permutation combination to different types of fabrics, to different types of artwork, to different types of work. So the scope of expansion is, we are planning to bring in more weavers, we are planning to bring in more weaving techniques, we are planning to reach out to more international clients. So that is our plan of action. Fifth question, role handling mantra. Well, honestly speaking, hi Paulimi, thanks for joining. The internet connection is better now. We are live, and we are going live with this session, the second episode. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. And another thing is, as I was mentioning, see, the role handling mantra is different for everybody. But for me, I believe, you have to make yourself available into whatever, the project puts in front of you, whatever the project brings in front of you. You cannot but categorize yourself as, okay, I will look into operations, I cannot look into the legal part, or I cannot look into the designer part. So the thing is, roles, like I am a father, I am I'm a husband, I'm a son, and above all, I am also an entrepreneur, and that entrepreneurship demands a lot. I mean, the thing is, when it is demanding a lot, I believe in giving it a lot. I believe in giving it all and delivering the best. So that is what my mantra is. Whatever you are doing, whichever role, it doesn't matter how many roles, whichever role you are playing, you have to play the role with your 100%. That is what my mantra is. Sixth question, what is the fitness mantra to maintain balance? Well, as I mentioned, the fitness mantra is, we are today stuck up into our work so much that we have been ignoring our health. We have seen our immunity going down with the COVID-19. A lot of awareness has come up for the immunity part. We need to literally work on that immunity part. We need to put a bit of exercise, a bit of a health regime in our day-to-day schedule. We have to focus on our meals. Like for me, if you ask for the mantra to keep myself fit, I would say meditation plays a vital role in my day-to-day life. It's like for at least 1.5 hour or an hour, I have to meditate, and that is one thing that I start my day with. I love to see the sunrise, so meditating at the point of sunrise, and I eat almost all kind of food. So, but the main thing is I eat lesser, in terms of I never eat with a full stomach, so that I can digest it properly. And walking is a part of my health regime. And apart from that, I am more into outdoor sports. Whenever I get time, I go out. I love trekking. So that is not possible right now, but that is one great part that I miss. Along with that, walking is a very interesting part of me, because it has thoughtful walking. It's not like walking from one distance to another. Thoughtful walking involves you walking very, very consciously in your mind. So that thoughtful walking comes with it's also called a part of a meditation also. That is one thing that drives me. So cycling, I love cycling, as and when I get the chance to. So those are the kind of things that put me into, let's say, a healthy mindset, a healthy body, and I am all okay, all energized. Seventh point. What is the message for young generation, and how do they handle fear and failure? Well, Tony, as I mentioned, the fear comes from your unaccounted thought about failing. You setting up a mindset never to fail makes you afraid of yourself, of your things. Like, see, the fear only comes when you cannot accept failure. The first thing is, my mantra is, you need to put up your best, you need to do your 100%, and you need to also have that mindset of accepting failures as they come. Because if you are happy with your success, the more you can handle your failures, they make you stronger within. They make you face the challenges of life with a very, very open mind. When that is there, I believe you are less afraid, because we are afraid of things which we cannot see or do not know. We do not know failure, because failures, from whichever direction it is, we cannot plan, we cannot prepare ourselves. So we are always afraid of failing, yet we never want to fail. But the thing is that many a times stops us from even trying. If we are not trying, if we are not doing our part, we will always be afraid. So it is always better to fail and learn and again do it, rather than not doing anything just out of fear. So my mantra is, go ahead, do it, learn it. Even if you fail, trust me, you will learn something, and next time it will be much better and easier for you. That brings me to the eighth question. What is the importance of family in my life? Well, Tony, honestly speaking, family is the source of inspiration to everyone, and to me also. See, for me, my family has been always supportive of whatever I'm trying to do. It's a kind of comfort in knowing that they believe in you. The first thing is, see, my wife always has been very encouraging. I have a son who is very, curious about what I'm trying to do, and I have a mother also. My father passed away, but these three members are always very eager to know what I'm trying to do, what's going inside my head. Thanks a lot for that. Thanks a lot. And now, see, my family has been always inspiring. They never doubted me from day one. That made me also believe that I am doing something sensible. The first thing is, this question arises in the mind of an entrepreneur many a times, like, am I doing something which is of any good? When your family stands next to you, even when they stand next to you for the simple thought which might have popped up in your head, that gives you a lot of strength. So my family means a lot to me. They are the source of inspiration, and as I always fondly say to my wife and my family, they are my charger. They charge me with hope, they charge me with courage, they charge me with the strength to face my failures. Your ninth question, 5 characteristics which defines me. I would say discipline, punctuality, uh, uh, being all by myself, clarity, and helpfulness. Those are the 5 kind of characters that can define me. It differs from person to person, but those 5 characters are something which are hard coded into my system, and I lead my life by those 5 characteristics. Qualities which I admire and dislike. Second, a quality which I admire and dislike in me. Well, qualities that I admire are honesty. That's one thing that I always believe and practice. That one quality, if everybody sticks on to it, the world would be much different. I mean, honesty is one big umbrella underneath. Everything comes out. Honesty towards your work, honesty towards your family, honesty towards yourself, honesty towards your vision, towards your customer. See, honesty is one thing which can define everything. So honesty is one thing that I admire the most, and what I dislike is lies. I mean, honestly speaking, I dislike dishonesty, and because dishonesty comes from confusion, dishonesty comes from wrong intention, dishonesty comes from not being very clear as to what you want. The thing is, you want a easy thing in your life, so you become dishonest. You cannot face the problem, so you bribe somebody, you become dishonest, and you harbor dishonesty. So if honesty is one quality that I appreciate and admire, dishonesty is something that I really dislike and I cannot really appreciate. 11th question is, what is my greatest fear? My greatest fear is all these dreams, all these potentials untapped. The potential that I have in me, or the potential that somebody has. Let's talk about myself, the kind of potential in terms of thinking, or the kind of vision that I can have now, or the kind of thought process that I have now, that not being fulfilled, or that not being worked upon, is my greatest fear. My greatest fear is untapped potential of thoughts. These thoughts are the seeds to miracles. So much of things can happen, so much of life-changing events can happen if we just accept these thoughts, if we accept these incidents in our life. So untapped potential is one of my fear. I fear of not being able to give 100%, in this lifespan, with making contribution into people's life. Um, 11th question is, who is the biggest inspiration in my life and why? Well, honestly speaking, my biggest inspiration uh, has been always myself, honestly, because I am one person who is very logical and who cannot accept one thing. So my inner voice is my biggest inspiration. It has been always driving me, and honestly speaking, it has been always driving me to the right direction. Even when I doubted that inner voices sometimes, but at the end I have found that the inner voice has been motivating me and has been guiding me like a guiding star to the right direction which I couldn't have comprehended or I couldn't have thought about. So that inner voice has been my greatest inspiration. Apart from that, you know, the simplicity, the simple life of my father and of my teacher has been a very, very motivating factor. You know, I always found them very, very simple, and I thought it was uneventful life that they were having. But now I understand how difficult it is to have a simple life. You know, the most complexity goes into making our life simple in a way that we are not simple anymore. So the more simple we are, that shows how we are mastering over all our senses. So the simplicity of my father and my guru, my teacher, is something which inspires me. That brings me almost to the end of the question. I can say uh, this is the 13th question, which is, you mentioned being human or being successful. How would you want to be remembered? Yes, how would you want to be remembered? Well, Tony, honestly speaking, being human is in itself a success. You know, if I can be remembered as just a human being who was helpful, who tried to make difference in people's life, I believe there can be no more success than that. So I would rather love and dream of being remembered as being human only. Uh, 14th question is, what is your passion and what you love doing for yourself? Well, honestly speaking, Tony, um, given a chance, I would only read and read. I love reading books. I love reading self-help books. I love reading motivational books. And next to reading, I love seeing, watching wonderful movies. Movies, like Forrest Gump, movies like Saving Private Ryan, movies with spirit. I mean, movies which upholds you in a kind of like a epic kind of stage wherein you learn a lot, wherein you start believing yourself. I always whenever I face these challenges, which is very often, honestly, and without any shame I must admit, Tony, I hear that dialogue from that movie Forrest Gump, run Forrest run, and Tom Hanks running across the screen, the braces breaking off, his hindrances breaking off, and in his whole life, across all the roles he's seen running, he's hugely successful, yet he's running, because those kind of success is something not that he literally planned and asked for. He is finding success in living and helping others. So that is a kind of movie that inspires me. So reading books and watching movies are two things. And given a chance, I love to cook, which is not very often that I get a chance. But I love to cook, food, different types of food. It doesn't matter, because even if I'm not successful, you see, I can always say to a friend, like even if I'm cooking a food, like let's say a Korean food, and it does not go okay, I can still say to my friends and my family, well, you never tasted a Korean food, so this is how the Korean food tries. So even my failure is a success, you see. And with that Tony, thanks a lot. Those are the 14 questions that you did put. I just hope I will obviously send a mail to you, and I apologize heavily for not being able to reply back to you. Until today, it has been 8 days, 9 days, we never had internet. And until today morning also, there was no internet connection. It was very intermittent. It was the strength was very weak, and none of the mails, none of the videos, nothing was working. So there was no way I could get back to you. And Tony, with these questions, I literally present the Mindset episode 2, and I just hope and wish that I was able to answer your questions. If there is any confusion, you can write back to that email ID which you sent mail, which is info@careercounselingonline.co.in. And thanks a lot, Tony, for liking that Facebook page of ours, which is Career Counseling Online. And I see that you have already joined the Career Counseling Online group in LinkedIn. So thanks a lot for that, and thanks for sharing. And just a reminder, we have the YouTube channel also by the same name. Maybe you can give a look at our channels and the videos, and that might give you some more insight about the startup entrepreneur journey and so on. With that note today, guys, thanks a lot, and thanks a lot, Polami, thanks a lot, Priya, thanks a lot, ma'am, thanks a lot. Very good evening. It's so nice to see you. Well, guys, just before I end this conversation, can you believe it? Our Bengali teacher, when we were in class, when we were preparing for our ICSE, I appeared for my ICSE in 1993. Mrs. Aruna Chaudhary, our ma'am, she was our Bengali teacher, and this is such a privilege and an honor today that she is joining this live conversation. She has been joining all my live videos ever since, whichever hours, whether it is morning, afternoon, or evening. Like today also, she joined. Thank you, ma'am, so much. I mean, this has really boosted up my moral. This is really inspiring me, and I am so happy. And thanks a lot. If I may take this opportunity for this live video to thank you for all the lessons you have imparted, and all the teachers of Kashipur who have imparted me. The journey of an entrepreneur, I believe, must have started from that school wherein you all teachers have taught us to be independent. Thanks a lot, and I take this opportunity to thank you and all our teachers from Kashipur who have made significant change in my life. I owe all my success to you. Thanks a lot for being there for us. Thanks a lot. And thank you everyone who has joined today in this live session. We just hope that we are making some sense with Career Counseling Online. Please share this group. Please share our Facebook page. Please like our YouTube channel. And this is not a business platform. We are just trying to help professionals cope up with this kind of stress and the trauma that they are going right now. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Polumi, for being a part of it. And thank you, Tony, for all those lovely questions. Those were pretty difficult, but yes, those were nice to be answered. Those really made me feel an introspective into myself and answer back. I just hope that I did a bit of justice. So if there is any further questions regarding, yes, and thank you once again for sharing that plan of action of yours. I'll be working on that, I promise you, and I'll be getting back to you with the suggested strategy for your startup, and we will communicate. And thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for joining the live session. With that note today, I sign off from Career Counseling Online Mindset episode 2. Thanks a lot for being a part of it, and thanks a lot for motivating. Without you all, it would never have been possible. Thanks a lot.